com and the director of the Portland Comedy Film Festival, as well as a couple of others that you'll know that are taking place in Austin, Austin After Dark and Austin Comedy. It's the end of our festival season. Our fall 2022 events are going to finish off the year in November with just a flush of events right at the end. They're all very different. They're all very fun. And for some reason, 3 of them have the same film in them. And that one is called House Meeting. Thank you, House Meeting crew, for joining me.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
So I'm going to brag on this one. Best Dark Comedy Microfilm Award in 3 festivals in 1 season. 3 completely different groups of judges are totally into your work. And what's funny is like not a bad scorecard at any of these festivals. So you're just like walking in. You probably think this is easy. You probably think you're done. Film festival circuit's no big deal. Let's just move on to the next one. But trust me, very, very good work. And for different reasons, the judges are very impressed with your film in different places. So congrats to your accomplishment.
Thank you. I appreciate it, truly.
Well, let's get into it. You're very welcome. Let's get into it. Can one of you give me the synopsis so that I don't ruin what the film is about?
Brian, do you want to take that one?
I mean, I want to if you want me to. Are you sure? It's
yes.
The baby. Okay. All right. What's the best way to describe our little short? I'd say it's an eclectic mix of characters living in Los Angeles, have a life-changing event happen to them that was definitely not planned or staged at all that we know of. But yeah, other than that, it's just like a quirky comedy that, I mean, Anne's amazing brain came up with, and I just had the honor to direct. So
no, I think it's accurate, especially also it's like, what happens when people start pushing each other's buttons and how that can, what happens when you push each other's buttons? We'll just leave it at that.
I like it. Thank you for teasing that one properly. And if you're in Austin, you'll have 2 days to watch it, 2 chances to watch it. And if you watch it the first day and you're wondering if that actually happened, you can come back the next day. But I won't ruin it. But let's get into the creativity. Let's get into why. So I'll start with you, Brian. You stated that, hey, she came up with this thing and I wanted to get involved. What were you thinking when you first read this script, and why did it excite you for this opportunity to work on this?
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, I mean, I was automatically excited because Anne is a dear friend of mine and we go way back. So when she brought something and had the trust to put her baby in my hands, which is, scary, I was like, oh, honored but nervous, because I'm like, well, you want to do a good job, you want to make sure that like you either elevate or you could at least bring, honor the piece, I guess would be the right word. And so I was a little bit nervous about that. And then another thing that was really exciting for me was the opportunity to really play with this short and like more visual storytelling. That was my challenge that I gave to myself. I was like, how can I shoot it in a way that's almost like, like the camera is kind of part of the dynamic, or it's like another character within the scene. So I was really approaching it from a very heavy visual standpoint. So I just wanted to really explore, because she had already done an amazing work with the words and the characters. So I just wanted to now then enhance it with like the visual aspect of it. So it was a fun challenge. I remember calling Anne like at 2 a.m. with like, oh my God, and I thought about this. What do you think? Could we do this? And I was like, poor Anne. She didn't sleep very well during that time, but thank you.
No, like especially like he said with the visual stuff, he had such great ideas. So I was fine being waking up at 2 a.m. for those.
All right. Well, I'm going to remix the question slightly for you, Anne, because you've got this whole like behind the camera, like, as a writer, let's pretend for a second that the writer and actor are 2 separate people. As a writer, you have a vision for what you want it to look like, what you want it to be, and what you expect the performances to be. But when you're in it, does that affect your performance now that you're acting in it? And how did you like teeter-totter balance that? Like, how that work?
No, that's a good question. Like, cause like especially writing, it's very much like, and I want to say like the blinders come up or the parameters come up, but you kind of like, you really do visualize it a certain way. and then going as an actor with it, it's like this balance of like, okay, well, you almost know the character inside and out, sometimes a little bit better, and then you're able to dig a little bit more. So it was one of those of like, for me, it was like with the words and also the people, like, we put into the short, it was like, here's a platform, here's your like stepping off point, and we trust that you understand these characters and trust your talent to kind of push off into like, and so for us it was I know for me it was, I know also the actors we put in there, and then even for myself of like, okay, here's my baseline, how can I have more fun with like this character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's talk tech a little bit. So I'll stay with you. And I mean, did you learn anything from the production of this? I mean, obviously you wore a lot of hats. You
Just a little bit.
a little pre-production going there, but to see this thing from beginning to end, you had to learn something. What kind of what was your film school experience out of this one? What did you learn?
This is my first time editing. So this was actually, that was the big film school part for me, was editing. Because I had produced in the past, I had done like short films and I've directed, I kind of wore in other hats there, but this was my first time editing. And that was like a big like learning experience. Like also just, it also helped me as an actor in the long run, because I'm like, coming from an editing bay, I'm like, okay, I know I need to pause there more. Okay, now I know, like, oh God, I have to make a cut here. How can I make a cut work? And so that was a big thing, and like learning how to make proxies. And I had my little MacBook Air, which was like struggling on, and like I have a much better computer for editing now, but it was like, so that was the big thing. It's like I have so much, like, I've had respect for editors, but oh my gosh, just the level of like, I didn't realize how extreme, not extreme, but just like the craftsmanship, the storytelling, the details with it. It's sometimes the story you find it in the edit. And that was that. Definitely, that was my big film school experience, was editing this.
Okay. And what about you, Brian? Same question. I mean, I'm sure you learned a little something.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think one of the things that I really found valuable through the experience was spending a lot of time in your storyboarding world, however you want to do that. I think that was super valuable, just so that you can ensure that the day of, and this may sound a little bit counterintuitive at first, but the reason why I felt it was very beneficial to prepare heavily with storyboarding and visual cues was because the day of, I wanted to make sure that I was able to be flexible enough, because at the end of the day, it is teamwork, and one of the actors may come up with a great idea, or my DP or sound or whomever, and I want to be able to accept that, because I feel like sometimes, speaking from personal experience, if I'm not like really that prepared, it could be a little bit harder to be that flexible, because then I'm kind of in my own like, no, it has to be this way, otherwise I don't know if it's going to work. But when you do prepare a lot, then like, oh yeah, there's always room for ideas that can come from anywhere. And so I think for me, it was definitely just learning to put a lot of time and energy on the before process, because sometimes, at least for me personally, I also, like Anne, wear a lot of hats on projects. I'm actor and director and writer and whatever, and I'm always like, oh, I'm waiting to have fun on set, I'm waiting for that like adventure time, let's do this. And sometimes you could be like, hey, we'll like, you can kind of fast forward through pre-production, but I've just really wanted to take pre-production and make it more enjoyable, because sometimes in previous projects, maybe I've just didn't know enough, and I made it a little bit more boring than it should be. But you can have fun in pre-production too. That's kind of what I learned. And I'm like, if I can encourage or trick myself into having more and more fun in pre-production, I can only assume I'm going to have a better product down the line. So I guess that's what I learned on this one.
Gotcha. All right. I appreciate both of you being so transparent about the process. I think that, especially beginning filmmakers learn that it is a process, that there is something you have to go through to get to these end products. And, most of our lives, we're watching the end product. So don't always know how much work went into it. So next question I'm going to ask is about the future. So, as it pertains to the film industry, what's your next project, Anne? What's on the burner?
Yeah, I actually am in post-production for a pilot that I have been putting together. And so, yeah, we've locked down our post-production team, and so that should be coming out at the beginning of next year. That one, it's definitely going to go like the bells and whistles with it. I think it's my jam. It's a dark, quirky comedy, ensemble piece about social skills and how it's like to actually like learn how to be social in a world that's coming out of a pandemic, essentially, and like about that. So it's kind of going to be a fun community like type comedy. So yeah, I'm doing
Okay.
post-production for that. So that should be coming out in March and April. So that's the goal.
I'm laughing because you're doing all this post now. You're never gonna be in front of the camera again. You're just gonna be.
Oh my
you're just gonna be-
gosh.
It's like that friend that gets the minivan. Just everyone calls them up when they're ready to move. Now
Oh,
everyone's
yeah.
going to call you up when they're ready to edit. So look at you.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
you're becoming a very, very well-rounded filmmaker. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so but it's like and this one it's like I'm very excited. Like I'm excited for House Meeting, but I'm excited for everyone to see what's coming up next year.
Sure. What about you, Brian? What are you working on?
Well, right now I'm going a little bit away from comedy, I guess. I'm doing sci-fi for a little bit. I'm writing this. I guess it's a, what's the word? Like an anthology series for a future world where we're a little bit more. I guess we're living more with sentient AIs, artificial intelligence, and how I feel like we're gonna get there. I mean, AI is like so powerful right now. We have so many tools in all realms of life. So I feel like at one point it's inevitable that they're going to be a bit more embedded in our life. So I'm kind of trying to picture what would a future like that be and what kind of social situations, conundrums, or problems we're going to face at that time. So that's kind of my next big thing. Right now I'm in the writing process, which has been a lot of fun. And I definitely wanted to do an anthology because I have a bit of commitment issues in real life. So I was like, if I could just have contained stories that could somehow link together and not have to commit to like a full, complete series or whatever, I think it would give me peace of mind. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Well, this has been great. It's been great getting to know the both of you. I can't wait to see you at the upcoming events in Austin.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
No, we just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone, and also like the judges, not only in like Austin for After Dark and Comedy Film Festival, but also for everyone in Portland. It really does mean so much. And it's such a great honor. And we're actually excited for everyone else to see it too. Brian, do you have anything?
Yeah. No, I'd like to add to that. I mean, it's one thing to have to ask your friends and family to be, please watch my film. It's like, please, I swear to God, I put effort, just watch it. And so it's very, really nice to actually have people that are not, in any way related to us to actually take the time to view it. And of course, what an honor to just at first just to have you guys see it and now to be nominated. I mean, that's super cool. So thank you again so much for that. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Good job. And
awesome.
You guys make us look good. I really appreciate you as well. So.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.